You thought I was always going to talk about games for good reasons? No way. Let's elongate a criticism that's always overlooked in a game that's out of this world. Super Mario Galaxy was released in 2007 by Nintendo for the legendary Wii console. The game was what you expected from Mario. You've got an Italian garbed in a color of your choice, running amidst a 3D space to find stars, which will open the way to new worlds when you find enough of them. All in all, it's a fine game. It's not my cup of tea, but it's a Mario game. Even the worst of mainstream Mario games are still of quality. I don't like this 15-carat gold necklace quite as much as this 17-carat diamond ring. Yeah, makes no sense when the less favorable choice is still great. Oh, you don't get off that easily, Super Mario Galaxy. I would dare to say that Super Mario Galaxy's level design is the weakest in any Mario game since a long time ago. See, Mario Galaxy tried to simulate the illusion of a large, expansive level because, you know, space is large and expansive. Mario fans, this one is going to sting a bit. I'm going to explain why this failed horribly from a level design perspective. Firstly, Mario Galaxy strays from the previous 3D Mario games by being mainly linear in nature. For the sake of example, the first 3D Mario was Super Mario 64, which had large square boards filled with things to interact with, which became the level the game was being played through. It was like a diorama to go with your science project. It could be viewed from all angles, and anything that Mario could traverse was taken to the advantage of the developers. This encouraged exploration and figuring out which ways navigating the level was possible. Super Mario Galaxy, on the other hand, is built as a straight path that Mario was forced to move within. Everything the developers wanted you to interact with is in plain sight due to the lack of a second control stick on the Wii for camera control. Any form of exploration in a 3D Mario game is gone for an entire generation purely because the Wii is what it is. Strike one. But Will, I hear you say, most levels have those little planets you can explore. That's very true. We'll get to that at the end. The second strike against Super Mario Galaxy's level design is its poor synergy with the lives system. This is the Mario game that really showed how dated having lives in a platformer can be. Lives were originally introduced into games because arcade machines needed a way to reach into your pockets and steal all your quarters from you. Nowadays, that's not really an issue, so unless a game is built around them, lives, more often than not, are pointless and dumb and distracting. Mario Galaxy makes it so apparent because of how easy lives are to get in one session, followed by the fluctuating difficulty of the game at another point. Every time you boot up the game, a postman toad will give you a letter from the princess with 5 1-up mushrooms inside, effectively giving you 10 lives at the start of any play session since 0 counts as its own life. From here, collecting easy-to-reach 1-up mushrooms, 50 coins, or 50 star bits in any level is beyond easy. This is where the concept of lives farming gets ridiculous. In the main game, you need hundreds of star bits to feed hungry Lumas to unlock bonus galaxies, which are harder variations of mechanics established in previous levels. So getting, say, 800 star bits to feed a hungry Luma instantly becomes grinding if you haven't been collecting them up until then, which becomes 16 lives on top of 16 easy 1-up mushrooms if you play a level you know well 16 times. Now you can feed the Luma, open the galaxy, and if you have problems with the difficulty, don't worry! The hard work has granted you 42 tries at this hardcore level before you get a game over, even though the bonus levels have 1-up mushrooms most times as well. This instantly becomes something Nintendo knows you'll fail multiple times at, but rather than just let you try again after each death, you have to lose lives and get game overs. It's pointless when the lives you lose lead to a game over that has no drawback. On top of the game randomly throwing challenge levels throughout the course of the regular game, they also try to reinforce the use of lives as this ticking timer of, oh no, you need to get good and fast! That's not how it works, Nintendo. A good game lets you train yourself to be good, not train yourself to abide by a set number of tries because you want to introduce lives and play through this hard level. Take a page from Rayman on this one. Strike two. The final and most deadly sin to Mario Galaxy's level design is in the planets. Okay, not deadly, but just, let's call it half clever, half underhanded. Many levels in Super Mario Galaxy have small planets you can walk on, which the camera follows the character along, allowing for a fully aerial, 3D view of the space they're moving in. Giving credit where credit is due, this is an alright workaround to the lack of camera control. This ties into a matter of level design versus presentation. These work wonders for making a game in space feel big and cool, but was nothing more than a crutch put in place because, plain and simple, the Wii control scheme sucks for a Mario game. However, the roundness of the planets are pointless and add nothing to the actual gameplay of Super Mario Galaxy. I know, that's a bold statement to make, because I would say that the planet design of the game is probably the most iconic thing that ever happened to the Wii console ever besides Wii Sports. Think of it like this. If I take a potato, I have a consistent looping geometric shape. There are no flat faces, and it is perfectly rotatable. All things considered, this is that weird peanut-shaped planet from the first level of Super Mario Galaxy. This is why it's pointless though. Peel a potato without tearing the skin at any one point. And what do you get? Oh hey! A flat flap of potato skin! Just like in Super Mario 64, which had one giant flat board of a level with things layered over top of it, the average level in Mario Galaxy has several tiny flat boards with nothing to do placed on them. But then they wrap and connect the boards into a ball and Nintendo will show it off like they're innovating. It's just making the exact same concept look different. That's all it is. But what about that gravity mechanic that lets you fall onto a nearby planet? It's a jump with no risk. You might as well glue two potato skins together. But what about the launch stars? Flashy segues between potato skins. What about the black holes? They're really fancy pits, except they don't let the player feel the fall of a missed jump. What about those blue star things that you hover over and press the button? They, like, let Mario float and stuff. Yeah, those are pretty cool. At the end of the day, though, Mario Galaxy's planets are just a different way of gift wrapping tiny, barren levels. That's just plain lazy. Strike 3. Linear flat sections, barren round sections that act the same as flat sections that are either really easy or really hard, on top of an aged live system, really bogs down Super Mario Galaxy from being truly masterful in design. This game feels 15 years old already, just go back and play it. Although it's not all that well designed from a logical standpoint, each of these strikes were also boons to the idea of Mario being in space. For every time these blunders hurt the gameplay side of the game, it absolutely skyrockets the experience itself. Not many games can recover from blatant mistakes like that. Give Super Mario Galaxy a try to see if you can spot the things I covered in this video. If you played it, do you agree? If you disagree, I recommend you go back and replay it with a cleared mind. There's nothing subjective about what I talked about. These sensibilities are in the game, but whether you love or hate this game will come down to whether you valued the gameplay or the spectacle more. Judging by the hype train that was created by the media about Super Mario Galaxy, I would definitely say that a lot of people were bought into the spectacle of the game the first time around, and were very easily overlooking the blatant logical flaws and bad design choices of the game itself. Although, it could be debated that both have value, and neither can really win over the other, especially if you take into account that the spectacle of being in space is just part of the overall experience. It's like loving or hating Conker's Bad Fur Day. Do you hate the game because the gameplay overall kinda sucks? Or do you love the game because it felt like something more than just a game? Could that be where the charm of Super Mario Galaxy lies? It could be. Who would I be to speak for other people? It might just be that. I think maybe people gotta start looking at this game from different angles, both as a game and as an experience overall. And that's why you've gotta play this. Thanks for watching.